Hello and welcome to a special virtual recording of the Dugout podcast. I am your co-host Andrew, alongside my fellow co-host Marissa. And yes, Marissa. So I believe that you set the agenda for tonight. Um, so I'll let you.
I just want to say,
I'll have
right?
you.
I just
Yes, go
want to
ahead.
say, when you doing our introductions, you need to warn me about how you get introduced to the show. Cause sometimes you just say things and it just make me start to laugh. Special
Oh, sorry.
virtual recording.
Yeah, because
I thought you
I
was
just
gonna
wing it.
say. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I thought I was gonna say a special therapy session after the weeks that we've had, but
Um,
neither here nor there.
um, I understand what you mean. I kind of wing it. But I mean, it might be a therapy session, but the reason that the intro this time was very short and I passed it on to you quickly because you know I can talk tonight, but I guess when I get into it, I will feel better. But right now, on the precipice, I start of a program, I feel a little bit down, as you can imagine. Um, but yeah, so I'll let you get into it with the various topics, and I will follow your lead. But yes, welcome viewers to a special virtual recording of the Dugout podcast. Once again, I'm Andrew, joined by my fellow co-host Marissa. She said therapy session, so may the therapy begin.
I just want to say I fully understand you. Um, Even though my result wasn't today, because yours was literally just 2 hours ago, mine was yesterday. I still feel quite deflated and flat as well. But we're here. We're here because we come and we show up and we show our faces. Because despite the teams we support, the show must go on. So we're here. We're here and we're ready. So Champions League action last week served up some very interesting results. I think you and Paul last week would have said you had Arsenal and City to go through, right? Correct?
I think so. Did I say that? I think I said the Arsenal Bayern game 50-50. I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember actually. I can't remember which side I picked on defense, and do not expect me to remember which side I picked because, as you can imagine, my brain right now is completely, I didn't say fried, but it's a bit frazzled. It's a bit exhausted. The disappointment is too much to
Yeah.
bear. But yes, go
You know
ahead.
what? You know what? You want to pivot? You want to pivot a bit and talk a bit about today and the title then?
No, you want me rant? Actually, it
No,
wouldn't even be a
it
rant.
may help.
Okay, well, um, no, let's start with Champions League. We could pivot at the end and include it if we have the time.
All right, no problem. So yeah, Bayern and Real advance. I for
Mhm.
one, I'm not surprised Bayern went through. I'm surprised it was 1-0 for sure.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a very tight game. I don't think Arsenal fans can go home feeling like they were begrudged or anything. I felt like Bayern did well. Um, and as I said, I don't know if I said it on air, but I remember telling you in the studio that I felt the key result was the Emirates. I felt like Arsenal needed to take a lead to the Allianz to
Mhm.
have any hope. Not that, because we have both spoken about Bayern and how Bayern is not the Bayern of all this season. But I still felt going to the Allianz with that draw, I thought Bayern would have felt pretty confident about their chances. And again, I watched both that and the Real City game at the same time. Probably not the best idea again, but hey. Um, and as I said, I felt Bayern did well. Honestly, I thought they defended well. I can't really think. I mean, it's been a long week, but I can't honestly think back to any chance that Arsenal had, any clear cut opportunity that Arsenal had that sort of way. I know their fans were bitterly disappointed, but yeah, I thought that was a good tie. The Real City game surprised me. Um, I did not expect that to end 1-1 after extra time at all. That was not what I was looking for. Um, City did have most of the play, I would say, but again, I thought Bayern defended well. I don't think the only I can remember he having was just after De Bruyne scored. He had another good opportunity. But other than that, I can't really think back to any clear cut opportunities that they had. And then, of course, we know penalties is always 50-50. But I'm personally happy to see Real through. Um, the English sides in Europe last week didn't do very well, except for Villa. Villa scraped through on penalties. But I was happy to see Real go through. I think there's a lot of arrogance. I know we are both Premier League. We both support clubs in the Premier League, but there's a lot of arrogance around prime clubs when it comes to European competition. And sometimes when it's not my team, of course, I don't mind seeing other English clubs get humble in Europe to bring some more respect to the other leagues, man. Just because they're not in the Premier League, it doesn't make them any less of a team, to be honest. I think Real did well. I thought Bayern did well. And City and Arsenal are both, despite many people having that as the potential semi-final.
Mm. Well, I didn't see much of the return games for obvious
Mhm.
reasons. Um,
Oh, sorry, for
but
obvious reasons.
for obvious reasons,
Are you
yes.
are you going to tell us what those obvious reasons are?
I thought we already said I was on vacation.
Yeah.
But
I
I
don't know
thought
if you said that to the viewers and
I
you said
did.
that to me, but
We mentioned it. Remember, you mentioned it at the end of the last show. That oh yeah, we thought I don't. But we mentioned at the end of the last show because remember, you said that Andrew of all people, he has to go away or travel, so we can't record. You said something along those lines.
right. Okay,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
So that's what
I
we
remember
alluding to. But yes,
now. Okay.
some of the viewers obviously are hoping that viewers that we would get obviously will not be privy to that information since we took down the last video. But nonetheless, yes, I was overseas in the neighboring one of our neighbors. So I was out doing touristy stuff. So I didn't watch the Arsenal Bayern game. And once I got back to my room or whatnot, I did catch the extra time of the Real City game. But I would have been following the live reports or what's not about the City Real game. So I'll start there. Uh, Remember I said that I gave Real a 45% chance because I felt like Real is coming with I know they've had a couple of injuries to key personnel. Um, but and they would have brought in some young players, about one or two. But I just felt as though their squad had a bit more endurance this time around to withstand the City pressure. Remember I said that City would try to play at a high tempo, but I don't think they'll run away with it like they did last season. And without seeing the game, but I just again, Real seemed to be able to withstand the pressure after they went ahead. Seemed to be able to withstand the pressure. From what I read and what I saw in the highlights and stuff like that, it did seem like after for majority second half, if not all of it, that it was just City trying to break down the door, eventually getting the goal, and then extra time. From what I saw, it was again there were times where Real were hanging on a bit and were under the cosh. Um, and just trying to manage it and get the penalties. And then once they got the penalties, that European pedigree came to the fore again. So they advanced. I think you mentioned about Premier League clubs and arrogance, and I feel as if I would agree that in some quarters of certain certain fans, certain fan bases, the media, for example, that opinion is largely felt as though the Premier League is the best league to in the world and stuff like that. I think it's the most, I guess, is the most entertaining to watch. I guess maybe sometimes the most unpredictable in terms of who the champions might be. Although it looking like the same champion will be crowned for 4 years running. There's a very strong possibility of that. But um, again, I also agree with you. I don't subscribe to that notion. I think that a lot of the time the other European clubs are kind of underestimated. And yes, on the balance of the game, if you watch the game, City probably deserved to go through. They were the better team. I would say City were the better team. But you have to give credit to Real Madrid and their resilience, their fortitude, and their know-how in terms of knockout games. They have winners in their squad. Modric, Cruz, all over the pitch. Rudiger, Carvajal. Their manager Ancelotti is a serial winner. So it should never be like taken for granted or like sort of like a foregone conclusion that City was going to go through against Real Madrid. I think where the softness might come from is the fact that I guess our fans of the Premier League, the media will have more to say to advance, because they like to throw that tag about that England has the best league, so it serves that self interest if Premier League clubs go far, and I guess they also they would also wanted England to get the extra um, Champions League
Coefficient.
coefficient when the tournament is expanded next season. So I think that's where that comes from. But apart from that, Real went through. Penalties are lottery, and it's funny. I think the Bernardo Silva penalty that he tried. I'm wondering if he was put off by the fact that the crowd took a while to give him back the ball and all that. That few extra seconds standing at the penalty spot waiting for the ball to be retrieved. May have made him overthink his spot kick, but you know, it's always a luck of the draw, and yeah, we all have serial winners in their team, so it wasn't a surprise in the end because they always had that feeling that Real could sneak through. Now,
Yeah.
the Bayern Arsenal game again, I think you definitely give Bayern the edge because the second leg was at the Allianz. I said that I felt that game was more 50-50 because of Bayern's form this season and Arsenal's form. I felt as though Arsenal, if they were brave enough, could have gone at Bayern, and really given it a go. But it's, I guess, recent European history counts for a lot as well because I just felt for whatever reason Arsenal didn't seem to like themselves. It almost felt
Mm,
as if they were playing the handbrake on a bit.
mm.
So
A
I
few
don't know if
people
that's a
have said
mental
that
thing.
actually.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a mental thing, and because they haven't been in Champions League for a while, and they haven't beaten Bayern in recent history because they have been on the end of some pretty heavy defeats when they've played um, in the recent meetings. So I'm not sure if that figured in, and it just seemed from the way the game panned out, it just seemed like if Arsenal were a bit tentative at certain points, and some players
Mm.
were a bit maybe play the occasion more than the actual game. Just throwing that idea out there, but yeah. So they may don't want to. Tough luck, but yeah.
Is it tough luck?
Uh,
Anyways,
tough luck
I
because
get what you
when
mean.
you
I
look
get
at
what
it,
you mean.
but and especially this, I think Arsenal, um, and this would be a sore point for them. The fact that right now, like we've said that Bayern have not been in the best of form. Um, they have not looked as good, not been as dominant as they normally are, as consistent. So it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like you play Bayern, yes, they're Bayern Munich, but it was like a wounded animal, and you
Mm-hmm.
kind of get the sense that are you going to get a better chance should you draw Bayern Munich again to get past them, right? So
I agree.
it's an opportunity miss.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Um, Barcelona PSG turned out to be a really interesting tie. Barca won the first leg, seemed in control, took the lead in the second leg, then had a red card, and then it all went to hell. So PSG got through there. Um, and then
Yeah.
my boys, my yellow wall.
Before you go to the yellow wall, don't forget that I told you that the football has a way of throwing up little fairy tale stories. And I told you that I just fancy that Mbappe's PSG. We're not done in Europe just yet. Not saying they can win the competition, but I feel like that little storybook page, leaving PSG with the trophy that they want the most. Man, I think he's from Paris, right? So I think PSG probably has a special place in his heart as well. And that
But see,
dream remains alive.
my uncle told me that he wants PSG and he's a Real Madrid fan. He
Mhm.
wants PSG in the final so he could beat Mbappe and make it cry.
Sif.
I'm like, because he says that Mbappe should be at Real Madrid or no, so he want make he cry. I'm like, he coming next season anyways.
It's a
But you
strong
know how these
possibility.
people are. Yeah. But Dortmund got through. That was also a very good tie as well.
Right.
And I'm glad they got through. I think Dortmund PSG should be interested. They were in the same group this year, or was that last year?
Um,
I think that was last year.
I think I might have been last season. I don't think they were in the same group this season.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a very good tie as well.
Wait. There were because that was in the group with
This,
AC Milan. We had AC Milan, Dortmund, PSG, and Newcastle.
yeah,
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 so they were.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. And those games were interesting in the group stages as well. So I'm looking forward to that tie. So we have
Okay.
our four quarterfinalists: Real
You
Madrid,
semi-finalists.
semi-finalists, right? Real Madrid, forgetting the others already. Dortmund, PSG,
And
and
Bayern.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fancy a Real PSG final, like you said as well. You felt PSG were going to go to the final, but a part of me feels Dortmund could get there too. But we'll see. We'll see. We will see. But yeah,
Uh,
I think the bookies will probably have Real PSG final.
I wouldn't rule out Dortmund getting there either because the thing is, you're never convinced about PSG for some reason.
Yeah,
Something always seems to
very
happen,
true.
um, especially
Very
when
very
they're
true.
the favorites. So if Dortmund play well, Dortmund, well, that goes without saying. But I guess it all depends on who the game pans out. Um, and again, I think a lot of it will depend on the sort of form and chances that PSG are able to create for Mbappe. If he is
Yeah,
influential, then I expect PSG to go through. Um, but at the same time, judging by what Dortmund did against Atletico Madrid, because it wasn't like Atletico played badly. Atletico
mm-mm,
had their fair share of the game and chances as well to score.
definitely.
So, but it seems as if a lot. Well, where's the first leg of that game playing? France or is it playing in Germany?
I actually have no idea.
Oh, but let's just say for me, if this, I think the second leg might have a role to play in
Do,
terms of who
let me do
advances,
a quick check.
but rather the who's at home in the second leg. I think that might
Yeah,
swing it.
I agree with you. Okay, so the first leg, Bayern is at home and Dortmund is at home. Mm,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right about that because I think I would have preferred if Dortmund were playing away first up, but it's what it is. All right. Um, that's it for our quarterfinal review. So let's move on to more depressing matters closer to home, at least for me. The FA Cup semi-final were this weekend. Um, Nothing really shocking for me in terms of the result between Man City and Chelsea. I think all of us would have predicted City win. Um, as usual, you never knew which Chelsea showed up, but I guess if the good part of Chelsea showed up on Saturday, the absolute worst showed up yesterday. But that's a whole other conversation. Um, I thought did you watch any of the semifinals?
Okay, so I didn't watch yours. When I got home, I saw your score was 1-0. And then, I saw the highlights and realized that you guys apparently you guys played well. You guys were well in the game, created a lot of chances to score. Um, again, Nicholas Jackson seemed to be the culprit who, missed those clear cut chances because they were good chances as well. And then obviously, City keep plugging away. And get a bit of fortune with the deflection off of the Petrovic boot that took it into the path of Bernardo, but he played away. And City, it was an important win for City. So I think that because having went out to Real Madrid in the Champions League,
Hmm.
I think it was a case where I don't think City were their usual free flowing self.
Yeah.
But it was important that they got back in many ways and kept the momentum going in a sense. So, but yeah, I didn't watch the full game, but again, Chelsea a bit unlucky, you could say, I guess. But
Nah, the only
um,
thing we got unlucky with is the penalty that should have that for Grealish handball. Not sure you saw it. That's the
it is.
only thing. That's the only thing I will call us unlucky. I am tired of, and I saw somebody tweet it, and it's 100% true. That game that was played between City and Chelsea, I've seen it at least 20 times this season, and that's not underestimation. Where you play well and you don't put away your chances, and I can't call that unlucky. I just call it ridiculous. So when we had so many chances, so many good chances, not just little half chances, good, like you said, clear cut chances, and you refuse to put them away, then you you're gonna concede. It's just Chelsea. It's just the Chelsea way. So I was disappointed, and I think I was disappointed because not necessarily the result, because I was expecting the City win. I was disappointed because I get really, really, really tired of Chelsea playing well and matching City because I felt it was a really good opportunity. They played a few days prior, 120 minutes, had a real emotional loss because it is an emotional loss. You're defending champions of the Champions League. You want to go as you want to take that title again. So they were drained physically, emotionally, and we had a fantastic opportunity, and yet again we blew it. Um, but I do agree with you on the flip side as a football fan, generally speaking. It was an important win for City because they need after losing out on defending the Champions League. I think that having the double is the next best thing for them. And I think it would have been really hard on them to go out of the Champions League and lose the FA Cup semi-final all within the space of a few days. It would have been interesting to see how that impacted the title race. But I think for them as a club, an important win. But for Chelsea, just another disappointing game. Another disappointing game, another disappointing result. So yeah, but it
Yeah,
was a good game, I must say. I thought it was a good game. It was a good game to watch for sure. Not when Jackson was missing sitters, but just a generally
I don't think.
entertaining game.
Okay, the only center that he missed was the header. To me, the header definitely should have done better. From the Palmer cross, the initial shot that led to the header, where he was trying to aim the ball in the far
I
corner,
felt
and I don't think that's I would call that a sitter. That was still difficult because you still have a lot to do. The keeper came out, made himself big, close the angle. The defender was basically a few strays away from him, or basically on his tail, trying to lean on him and put a little pressure on him. So
I
obviously,
hear all that.
it
I
was
hear
that
all
was not.
that. But the way he took the shot, like there was
Mhm.
absolutely it was so tame. Like if you look back at the replay, it was like there was no power behind it, no sort of conviction. Then there was one in the first half. Was it the first half? Yeah, it was the first half where he was through one on one, and for some reason he just went too wide, and then he cut back in, and then I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's like I don't know if it's a confidence issue. I don't know, but I mean, we saw much the same yesterday in that Arsenal game as well. I should don't even want to think about. But I don't know what is it. I don't know if it's something that he's going to get better at. This is his first season playing for the club. I don't want to be too harsh on him. But it's really frustrating, especially on the back where he received a lot of abuse. He has been receiving a lot of abuse, and you come and do the same thing yesterday. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just hope that he has the talent. I love how he plays, but I just hope that next season he can just add that little bit more of finesse to his game, to be honest. The decision making at key moments is what I have an issue with.
No, it's not. But okay, but it is confidence because obviously, anytime that you're doing something without conviction, that essentially means that you don't have
Mm.
self belief or enough confidence. I don't know,
Yeah.
but it's not a sitter. I still think it was okay. A striker in form, you fancy himself to bury our chance, right? But he's not been in form. He's not been in form for a while. All the goals, or majority of the goals that he scored this season have been scrappy goals. Even that game that he scored a hat trick. I want one of the goals where the ball almost got away
Spurs.
from him. I can't remember what game it was.
Spurs.
Spurs, right? Exactly. like even in those games. So he, it's clear that he's what's the word in front of goal. He feels the heat. You know what I'm saying? And he gets flustered. And
Yeah,
the reason
like
that
almost as if he's being his head a bit too much,
exactly, and the reason I said to
overthinking
me
it.
that was
Mhm.
not consider is because if you see the replay camera, who the defender was that was closest to him, but the person was basically like, grappling with him, trying to put a bit of pressure as he was taking the shot, and he kind of
Mhm.
rushed it. So I don't think the intention
Mhm.
was to be so for it to be such a team effort. But you see what he was trying to do. He was basically trying to open his body after he put the ball in for a post, but he got it wrong because being the guy was putting pressure on him. It was almost like he was falling over as he was taking the shot, and that led to the lack of power. The header, no, he just completely miscued that, and that has been his story the whole season.
Yeah,
So when I
he's
say
really
unlucky
not a good header
Chelsea,
of the ball.
I get what you mean when you said, for example, that this Chelsea story for a long time, and I guess you'd be a bit more forgiving when it's not your team. But I get you when you say, for example, that to miss chances continuously at some point is it can't be that you're unlucky. It gotta be that it's just ridiculous. It's just you should be doing better and stuff like that. Whereas the in season in game development and stuff like that. I get all of that. But the reason I say unlucky is because it wasn't for me. It wasn't a bad performance, just a bad result.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad performance. I would like him, like based on what you're saying, I would like him to just trust his instincts more in front of goal.
Mhm.
He gets in some fantastic positions. Just trust your instincts. Don't think about it too much. Just act on instinct more. And then Man United versus Coventry. This was funny to me because I remember last week I was the only person that predicted the Coventry win. And
Right.
I was sitting down in church and I had the score. And I saw my United was 3-0 up after 58 minutes. So I was like, all right, game done. I didn't bother to chat. I was driving home now. I saw this notification 3-3, 120 plus 5. I was like, what? So I get home in time to see penalty shootout. When I see Casemiro miss, I was getting excited. But then, of course, I should have known better because if there's anybody that Lady Luck smiling upon this season is Manchester United FC.
Mm.
Because even today against Sheffield, then anyways, we're talking about today.
Yeah, I saw. I
But
saw.
anyways,
Well, we will. I have to. But I saw that they did win late today. Two late goals to get to secure for a 2-win against Sheffield.
yeah,
After.
what annoyed me about it is the same thing that annoyed me when they played Bournemouth.
Mhm.
The softest of soft penalties. Because I was actually watching the game on mute. So I actually thought the referee gave a goal kick because I was like,
Mhm.
that's soft, B. And I'm like, Sheffield were 2-1 up at the time. Obviously, you give Manchester United a penalty, it comes to 2-2. I know Sheffield wasn't gonna score another goal after that, but it's like they just get so they just get so lucky. It's frustrating. But did you watch the game? Did you watch the Coventry game?
Right. So similar to you, I turned it on at the start. I wasn't watching it, but I turned it on, switch it off, watch something else. And then I think Liverpool's game began during halftime. So I
Yeah.
was watching the game. I checked the score. I saw they were 2 level up, similar to you, and I was like, oh well, game finish, whatever. And then during my game, the commentator said, breaking news, events, blah blah. He said the score. I was like, what is this? So I put the game on my cell phone, and I was able to catch the last couple minutes of extra time where Coventry scored a goal. It was like a total um a gesture,
Like
a total
seriously, how
offside.
lucky can you get? How lucky can
Exactly
you
right.
get?
And then the penalties, and then again, unlucky Coventry. That would have been a remarkable comeback win for them.
Yeah, it would
Somebody
have.
called me. I, their first words were they will be like Manchester United and walk around with a genie in the back pocket.
I
I
mean,
mean,
right?
you know what was excited? It wasn't even penalties, but this is always this is always sour grips, and I don't care. I'll say it anyway. I was excited, right? Because when I turned on the game on my phone, and I saw the what I thought was the winner. from Coventry. I was happy because you know what? That's exactly how we lost to Man U the FA Cup. Look at them,
Yeah, it is.
and then the referee give the people a reprieve. Anyhow, I mean offside, so I guess you can't complain about that. But yeah, Mayu didn't play well, and I hate to be the one who says to Marissa, "I told you so," but I'll say it anyways. I told you so. I told you last year that Ten Hag and this man in the squad wasn't impressing me. I didn't care that they win the Carabao Cup and get to a final. I didn't care that they finished third in league because let's be honest, last season after having such a big distance between them and the chasing part, that finish was kind of desperate in the end. So I felt like mine were just eking out games, and that has continued into this season. And Ten Hag can speak about injuries that he's had from morning to night. But I want Ten Hag to know that they just run to night catch it. You know what I'm saying? To tell you. And night coming, which is Manchester City on May 25th in the FA Cup final.
Look,
Because there's
look, the
no
way this
way.
season is, Andrew, the way this season is going, I would not put it past Man United to have another lucky escape and win that FA Cup final.
No, because Man City is not Liverpool. They're not Chelsea. They're not going to let Manchester United off the hook like that. Something remarkable. I mean, sometimes we always say, for example, that in these situations, it just goes to show that a man name on the cup, and when a man name on the cup, he can't even change it. But with this Manchester City side, I don't think that applies. I
Yeah,
really
fair
don't think
enough.
that applies. I don't think Manchester
I
United can turn up. It's gonna be interesting how they approach the final because I don't think that they can turn up and perform in the manner that they have in recent weeks, like against Bournemouth, like against Liverpool, even though they got results. Um, you know, I don't think they can turn up in that sort of manner and you know prevail against City. And also, I think City, the one thing that City will not allow Man United to do, is that City will not allow Man United to turn the game into that, sort of end to end transition to this type of football match that they like. City's gonna
right,
get on the
fair
corner,
enough.
control it, and basically starve the possession.
Yeah. I do want to address what you said about your "I told you so." And yes, you were right. And I have to say, I have been listening to how Ten Hag speaks, and for him to talk about, okay, the caveat, yes, they're in the FA Cup final, 100%. But you cannot seriously be critical of people for being critical of you for blowing a 3-0 lead against Coventry City. And the way he's trying to coach this as, oh, it was such a show of character. You're literally saying it was a show of character to win on penalties? Like, the way he speaks of late is just like, is it that he know he get fired? Is it that he genuinely don't care anymore? Because some of the things he's been saying is been mind-boggling to me. And I was just like, it's okay to call it for what it is. I did find it telling that when Hoyland scored the winning penalty, he ran off celebrating with the fans. Anthony do some jump showing his shirt to the Coventry players. And all the other Man United players was just like, yeah, congrats. Like they knew. They knew, they were relieved because they knew they almost blew it. And I just think like, you don't want managers to throw players under the bus. But stop trying to convince people that what you're doing is such a fantastic achievement. Talk about you made two finals or whatever. You literally Liverpool should have beat you, and Coventry City probably deserve to beat you too. So stop trying to gaslight people into believing that this is some remarkable achievement. Man United, you said it. Man United scraped through a lot of results coming out till end of last season, and it has continued on throughout this season. They have scraped by a lot of results. I watched most of their game against Sheffield today. Sheffield aren't great, we all know that. But how you can be 2-1 down to Sheffield at home? And they weren't even playing that great. They got a
Mhm.
penalty. They escaped through a soft penalty and an absolute worldie of a goal from Bruno Fernandes, which is how it has been. They either get soft penalties or they score a fantastic goal. They're not playing well. They're not playing good football. So he tried to gaslight people, and a lot of Man United fans, to be fair, are not falling for it. I asked a guy yesterday if he felt Ten Hag should be sacked. He said yes in like 4 different languages. So a
Yeah.
lot of my United fans can see through it, but gosh, it's not a good watch. It's not a good watch to watch Ten Hag, and it's not a good watch to watch United at all.
But
Tired of them.
I think what Ten Hag is doing, what he's trying to do, is that I think he knows the performances are bad. I think what he's trying to do is that is almost a case where he's trying to create the narrative that when they overcome these bad performances or turn games around or get or salvage something from games is a show of mental strength and resilience. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just calling it for what it is a bit of fortune, is a bit of good fortune, or is a bit of a lack of cutting edge or ruthlessness from the opponent.
Opponent, yeah.
Hit Liverpool, right? So, uh, you know, he can spin it however he wants to spin it. Like I said, the only thing that may save his job is not the FA Cup win, because I would like him to remember that he last Dutchman that Man United hired won the FA Cup and got sacked, right during the trophy celebration. Main news broke. So
It was during. Oh my gosh.
I just maybe I'm being facetious. Maybe it was not during.
Okay,
It was
okay,
it was on
okay,
his
okay,
team day,
okay,
essentially.
okay. Fair
In
enough.
the post match analysis for sure, the news broke that they were terminating his contract or
Mm-hmm.
parting ways. Um, so I want Ten Hag to know that the winning the FA Cup alone is not going to be, you know, any salvation for him, because I think most people will look at it as you want a cup, but really and truly it just means that you beat Man City, which is like the ultimate opponent if that were to happen. But it's just a win. It's just a one-off win, right? It isn't any sign of progress or what's not. Um, and I think alarmingly for him as well is the fact that yes, he's talking about injuries and stuff like that, but I would still argue that he had enough players available at different points during the season that the level of performance should have been better in terms of a pattern of play and stuff like that you would expect to see. Having been there, 2 years now in the job. And the last point I want to make about Ten Hag, the only thing that would well, not really save his job. The only thing I think would save his job is if, for example, Man United um, come to the conclusion that there are not any viable alternatives right now, and let's wait a bit
Mm-hmm.
to maybe somebody else becomes available. That we may make a change a bit later. Other clubs have done that in the past, but the one thing that he should be worried about, and I go back to this, he must remember that the club have just sold a stake, or the owners rather sold a stake in the club, and the new people that came in, NEOS Group or whatever they're called, they are now in control of football operations. What I mean to say is that it's a new management regime. They've made changes. They've appointed a new CEO or director of football, whatever the case may be. They're making changes. So that already tells me that they will be looking for their own person to come and do the job. Even if they get the appointment wrong, they're going to want their
Yeah,
own people in, right?
yeah,
I think, and it's not a case where, for example, the team has been performing well, or the case where he has such a extremely great CV, or even a relationship with the fan base, like Klopp, for example. You know, that would mean that the guys may be a bit reluctant to make a change, right? So I think the writing is on the wall, and I think he knows it. And the only thing that can save him, like I said, is if they come to the conclusion that there are no viable alternatives right now, and for example, maybe somebody's in a job, or maybe someone says no to them at that moment. That's the only thing that could happen that I think would save his job.
yeah. Because I don't want to say they're sliding down the table, but six is looking less and less secure for them, in my opinion.
Mm,
Um, Newcastle lost today, luckily for United. So now they have a 3 point gap on Newcastle, but they still have to play Newcastle, and they still have some tough fixtures.
mm,
Chelsea, if they could get that act together, are still there. West Ham are still there. So I think who's going to finish sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth hasn't been set in stone yet. And I think United, with how they're playing, especially, and the fixtures that they have, I think that might be another nail in Ten Hag coffin as well if they miss out on Europa League. You said Europa League is fifth and sixth, and then Conference League is seventh, right?
Yes,
Right.
but
So
and again,
yeah,
it's Man United. It's not your first season there. I don't think by any
exactly.
stretch of the imagination that you know, unless you really, unless you really got Genie in your back pocket, I don't know how you can explain narrative that they should give another season based on a Europa League qualification, especially
Exactly.
when you're not coming with a certain level of success. It's not even there for 4, 5, 6 seasons and done well, and we can stick by in this blip year, so to speak. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw one of their fans. He's a well-known YouTuber talking about why people talking about Ten Hag and not talking about Pot sacking Ten Hag and not talking about sacking Poch. Like I've made my feelings clear to you already about how I feel about Pochettino, but again, different circumstances. Ten Hag is in his second season. He's in
Mhm.
his second season. How are you justifying him and how he has that team playing and comparing it to a manager who's only in his first season at a club? Like, and you also made the point about injuries. Gary Neville actually said something very similar, where he felt like, yes, United have had a lot of injuries, but when you look at who has been injured, their notable absentees have only been Martinez and Shaw. Everybody else has been largely available for a large part of the season. So yeah, they've had a lot of injuries, but they've had a lot of injuries to fringe and squad players.
Correct.
I mean, if you want to consider Mason Mount, he was a key signing for Ten Hag. He was out for most of the season as well. I don't know, but you can't always hide behind injuries either. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens with United. I'm sure that Genie will help them in a few other games this season. So let's touch briefly on the biggest controversy of the week, which
Mhm.
was Nottingham Forest and their battle against everybody else in football, apparently. Um, so Nottingham Forest felt like they were, what's the word? They experienced some injustices at Goodison. They were away at Everton, right? They were away at
Yes.
Everton, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and they put out a very interesting tweet that garnered some serious reaction. Um, some persons in some quarters felt it was very similar to the reactions of Arsenal and Liverpool, but other people, and rightfully so, as we would have also discussed privately, felt like it crossed the line, where essentially you're going a step further than calling it out. You're actually blanket calling out somebody and potentially questioning someone's character and integrity, and that's where they cross the line. So, what are your thoughts?
All right. So I guess you said a couple things there. I'll start with the comparison or the supposed comparison of Arsenal and Liverpool. I love how
Mm-hmm.
them let me defend Arsenal here. Anyhow,
Mm,
I think with the Arsenal thing, they were talking about the Newcastle game, right? Early in the
yeah,
season.
and
When
with
Arsenal
you,
was happy
The Spurs
and
game.
me against Spurs. Correct.
Hmm.
Now, if they, if our people remember correctly, let's start with Arsenal first. It was Arteta who criticized the officials, right? He criticized the officials and he criticized the standard of refereeing. And I think he said something along the lines of, if the Premier League is supposed to be the best league, then the officiating can't be at this level, right?
Hmm.
He said something along those lines. Bear in
Hmm.
mind, a couple of weeks before that, when Liverpool had the bad decision against Tottenham, he even
There
let in the
was he
comment.
was
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. He didn't
I
want nothing. He
remember.
had nothing to say,
Yeah, and
right?
then he said,
So,
"Oh no, 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 no! I am more sure I heard him say that we have to respect the referee's
right,
decisions."
right, some of that, right, right. But I mean, in terms
Hmm.
of well, yeah, but he didn't speak. He didn't want to speak out.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's only when the glass slipper fits slid on his foot perfect. He has something to
Hmm.
say. Anyhow,
Yeah.
or he was aggrieved and he was all ever so rich. But no, Arteta made a statement. I remember when Liverpool had the bad decisions. I remember Klopp made a couple statements, some that I didn't agree with. When he said that he think the game should be replayed, I was like, oh, that's a new one. especially from the manager that always talking about the fixture congestion and different things. That's a real
Hmm.
But I guess managers should try anything to get points. Uh, but Klopp made that statement. I remember Liverpool did. I think maybe we asked for the releases, maybe some recordings and stuff like that, the bar officials and different things like that.
Hmm.
But here's the difference. At no point did an official statement come out from the club, which is an institution, an organization. At no point did an official statement come out from either organization accusing or insinuating that you know the referees were corrupt. You know, you criticize them and you say that they've done a poor job and that there needs to be some sort of like accountability, some sort of justification, something needs to happen
Mm-hmm.
to sort of like compensate for the bad decision or the bad error. You know, you put pressure on them in that fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But to come out as an organization or use a platform that speaks for your organization in an official capacity, I insinuate that the VAR official is a Luton fan, and that's why the decision were wrong. You're basically insinuating that referees are corrupt and there's some agenda against you. So you're basically accusing them of cheating, for lack of better words, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
that happens all the time in terms of we as fans do tend to accuse officials. I know I have of cheating or being corrupt, right?
Yep.
But notice that we as fans, not employees or speaking on behalf of the club. We're just fans talking, whatever the case may be. You have to, unless, like I said, unless there's some official investigation done or some leak recording or some sort of evidence that implicates or implies, that certain people have taken bribes, for example, and stuff like that. As an organization, you cannot do that. That is, basically bringing the game into disrepute,
Yeah.
and question the spirit of the game and the spirit in which things are contested. And trust me, if Forest do suffer relegation, I don't think many clubs, many people in media are going to have any sympathy, even though they have a legitimate case in the sense that they have suffered some bad calls.
Yeah. I understand you. At first, I must say, at first, I didn't look at it the way you just said it in terms of it's an institution, it's an established institution. It's not just a fan. I looked at it as me as a fan calling it out. And I felt, you know what? Call it out. But like you rightfully said, and we would have had a conversation in private as well, you still have to be mindful of what you say and how you say as an institution. And you have to set the example because then no, you put that out as an institution. What are your fans then gonna do? Obviously, they're gonna follow your lead. So you do have to be careful. I mean, like you said, I have also very much accused up to Saturday when Grealish handball was not called.
Mhm.
I believe it's corruption, especially with everything that I've heard about certain referees and certain city games. But that's me as a fan. But as an institution is not right. So yeah, I agree with you as well. Um, the claim they're gonna take steps. I don't know what steps they could take, but
Listen, listen, it's like, what's it like? For example, Kenneth came on the show, and Kenneth
mhm,
took shot after shot at Manchester City. He brought me 115 charges, but Kenneth don't work for Liverpool. You understand? So
exactly.
Kenneth could do it like.
Exactly. Exactly. That's actually a good analogy because that is perfect because then that's like the chairman of Liverpool saying on our podcast, calling
Right.
the Etihad the empty had and bring exactly. So you generally when you're an institution, when you're representing an institution, you do have a certain responsibility that is different from the average fan. Even though you're a fan of the institution, you still have to act
Right.
a bit more respectfully than that for sure.
Right. You have to be like a standard bearer.
Exactly.
Like for
Yeah.
example, you remember that we used to when Arsenal were doing poorly. Remember after games when Arsenal got defeated, we will and me for sure. I remember I'll be on YouTube, I watching Arsenal fan TV.
Yep.
Just to see the
Got
reactions of
my
the fans.
popcorn there, lapping it up. Yep.
Are we laughing bad? That times right that to relax. I just on my phone in bed and I was watching Arsenal fan TV. I remember I would never ever watch Arsenal fan TV when they won again, but always when
A
they lost.
hundred percent.
So,
100%.
but you remember, but I don't know. I'm not sure if you're aware. I'm not even sure if it's true, but I remember it was Arsenal fan TV. Have you noticed that there are no AFTV?
Mm-hmm.
I think the club actually put pressure on them to change the name to AFTV because they don't want to be affiliated with the things that
Mm,
they say as being representative of Arsenal
interesting.
as a club,
Okay.
as
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
institution. Exactly. So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
responsible with the messages that come out of your organization.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if anybody knows anything
100%.
about Arsenal, all that cussing and stuff like that that certain YouTubers do on AFTV, backing Arsenal or being um demonstrating their dissatisfaction with certain results.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal historically are a posh club. They're supposed to be a certain standard. They're supposed to be best of the best. You
Mm-hmm.
notice that is like I don't want to call them hooligans, but like the fans that you will see on AFTV, for example, are not necessarily the fans that historically Arsenal as a club is almost like a gentleman's club. Put it that way.
I
If you go
understand
back,
what
if you
you're
trace it back from the 80s on and further backwards, right?
saying. Mm-hmm.
So that just goes to show that certain statements that are made by people in an official capacity, are not allowed. It's like almost like, for example, as I use in Nigeria, it's almost like, for example, if I said if um Comer on their Instagram page put out a statement and said, for example, Harrison College is only get grade ones because they got corruption at CSC. Yep. Or just get more grade ones, that's because they got corruption at CSC. That would look bad.
It would
Even if we said it behind closed corridors. You
close
understand?
doors. Yeah,
Put it
it's different. Yeah.
exactly in the public domain. I also put it in some fashion as coming up from within the club.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna be criticized for it. And also again, notice that other clubs who criticize officials have criticized officials. That official
Officials. Yeah.
is not fit to referee. The VAR
Mm-hmm.
officials don't know what they're doing. They've criticized the officials directly. Nobody has ever said, for example, Stratwell or whoever is back Manchester United and that way met that call,
Mm-hmm.
or they were
Mm-hmm.
born
Mm-hmm.
in Manchester, so that's why that decision made for City. Or we named Rob Malley today, blue million one soft for kids for Everton because I don't know, he's a blue. Nobody ever said that. No, so
Yeah.
like
Fans say on social media, but
exactly.
but nobody in any official capacity representing any club ever comes out and says those things.
Because that's irresponsible. You're supposed to behave
Right.
with a certain level of class.
It's true.
Really, that's why, for example, if you look at the national team coaches, captains, when certain incidents happen, if you're a captain of the club, you could get stripped of your armband, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
somebody who sacked you because you did this or you said this. I'm not going to bring it up. No, I'm not sure if you know about this, but Glenn Hoddle is an example of that. He lost his job as England manager because he made a comment about um, people with disabilities. It wasn't because
Mm.
he's doing a poor job. He made that comment and people sacked
Mm-hmm.
him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
And then you.
there's certain things, there's certain expectations that
Mm-hmm.
of behavior that you're supposed to represent in certain rules.
Yeah, I understand and I agree. All right. So briefly, because I
Okay,
don't. The show has actually done a lot to improve my mood.
right.
So let's not drag it too far back though. So
Hmm.
anything specifically in terms of this week's results you want to briefly discuss?
Well, I live at my word and I the first welcome on here after defeat and promise sure. You know what I'm saying?
That's not
Anyhow,
true. I put on my Chelsea shirt the last live stream we had, and we
you
could
had
have
lost.
just
You had
come off
lost,
a
have it?
defeat. Yes.
Who lost?
And you made a comment. I can't remember, but you made a comment that I only do it because we live, we online or some nonsense like that. So
Oh,
go back
okay.
and watch.
My sincerest apologies to you, Marissa. I
But
guess I
what?
missed.
But what I would say though, I think the nature. I think your defeat was probably worse than mine at the time because your
Mhm.
defeat is a derby defeat. You're going for the title. So you know what? I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Well, I try to be very brief. I can't promise that I will, but I'll try. Since you said very briefly. So yeah, this week in the Premier League, I mean, Liverpool have had some
Strange results of
bad,
late.
strange results over the last, let's say last fortnight, last 2 weeks. It all started with the 2-2 draw at Old Trafford,
Oh
and they
gosh.
had the
You know
Europa League.
Manchester United fans actually taking credit for y'all slump, online.
Um, I mean, I give them credit because that's where it all started. I
Mm-hmm.
honestly believe. Okay, so they lost against Crystal Palace um, on Sunday, weekend before, which was the same day I traveled. I remember I watched the first half, at the airport on my cell phone, and I only played with the game on, and at some point I got to turn it off. Got to the destination and found out that we lost. And I had the inkling to like upset my day, but I was able to avoid that. But
Good.
was the so they had a Crystal Palace result. Then they had a couple bounce back wins. I think they won away to Atlanta, but still went out on aggregate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me,
Beat
and
Fulham on Sunday.
beat Fulham on Sunday. Yes, and then today they lost 2-0 to Everton in the derby. And what I would say about Liverpool's finish this season, there are still 4 games left, and I guess mathematically they're still kind of aiming for a small
Yeah.
chance of I guess if strange things happen. But it would take an almighty collapse, and it's not even a case where you're chasing one team, you're chasing two. Oh Lord have mercy! It would take an almighty collapse, right, of massive proportions. There really need to be corruption in VAR to hand Liverpool this title.
Oh God.
So I think Liverpool fans out there, myself included, I think we need to be realistic. It's done in terms of our, interests. This is not to say that we shouldn't at least try to do our jobs and we need that 4 games. And if luck befalls us, if that genie happens to be in our back pocket too, by all means, yes. But I think it's done. Um, Today's performance in the end was not enough, but it's been a similar trend. It's like I've seen this story over the last 2 weeks. I've seen this story 3 or 4 times. Again, well, not again, because the story kind of changed a little bit. It had chapters. At first, so this is my United game and the Crystal Palace game, you're dominant for large portions. You create chances, clear cut chances too. You don't score them, you concede, you didn't get the result you want. I think that would more so be the Man United game. The reason I said that's kind of starting to slump is for me, that seems to have affected the player's psyche in the
Mm.
sense where yes, we've conceded a lot of goals. Remember, we went behind in most of our games in league this season. I come back from behind and won
Mm-hmm.
games.
Yeah.
But I found that of late, it seems like when we concede or when we get a knock in a game, the composure seems to
Mm.
have left Liverpool. Because even a lot of those games when we came back and we got results or we won games, we conceded, yes, but the guys still play football and it still seemed to be a structure. Yes, Klopp teams are high pressing, high octane, all that stuff is yes, but it seems to be a structure, a plan to it. It almost seems as if over the last couple of weeks, um, with the nature of the fact that you're creating so many chances and not taking them, it almost seems as if the team has descended into a mental chaos in a sense where there's a lot of time left, but they're playing like if they're the last 10 minutes all the time, especially second half. They're almost like they're in a rush. And I found today
Mm-hmm.
today and against Atlanta in the second half. And from the start second half, not even like, hey, I expect to see that sort of performance. Let's say you got 15, 10 minutes to go and they really step on the gas. Maybe they sense the chaos and it's frantic. But from minute go, the team lack a certain level of control about it. It's almost, and it seems like if they're playing in desperation. And I think a lot of that has to do with maybe the fact that some, I should say some, majority dressing room probably want to do it too much for Klopp. I think a lot of players there at the club, the senior ones, not saying everybody don't love the manager, but especially the senior ones, the Van Dijks, the Alissons, the Trents, the Robertsons, the ones that have been there through the majority Klopp tenure. It seems like if I'm not sure, but it almost seems like a vibe like they wanted to do it too much for the manager, and that has sort of like translated into a sense of panic. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
in the 31, 32 all games before the Man United game, even going behind, there was a panic. You kept playing, you kept doing the right things, and you were still able to fashion chances. And even though missing chances has always been a theme throughout the season. I remember I started the season. I said to you that I felt the team wasn't ready. I felt they might need
Mm-hmm.
another year, as keeping Salah would
Mm-hmm.
have been dependent on whether or not I could go forward because he was the
Mm-hmm.
only body who was converting chances at a high rate, with the addition of maybe Jota as well. The others for me were kind of scruffy. And then you realize that since Salah come back from injury, for the large part, Salah has been scruffy too. It's almost like
Yeah.
if then
It's
contaminate
crazy.
him. Exactly. That,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? It can't. I can't even say, for example, well, the chance, I want these chances to fall to Salah because he ain't even taking them now. You know what I mean? He just snatching at chances too. And don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, I think at some point he will get back in the firm,
Hmm.
but it is ironic. And here's the irony: Klopp said that he's left him because he's run out of energy, and it seems like of late Liverpool have run out of energy
Liverpool
in
have
this
as well.
in their play.
Mm.
They seem like, and it's just a case where they're trying to draw on that emotion, and it's not
Yeah.
there. It's not there.
I think that's actually spot on because I watched probably mostly the second half of the game today. And usually when I watch Liverpool, you always get a sense of inevitability. You know
Hmm.
Liverpool can score. At no point in that second half I felt that Liverpool was going to score. There was just something about watching you guys of late. It doesn't feel the same. So when you say that, when you make that point in terms of them drawing on emotion, I can see that because it's like as games go on, Liverpool traditionally have gotten in the past, that they're going to fashion two or three good chances, and they're at least going to take one or two. You just ain't getting that vibe of late. Like I was watching Man United Sheffield, and I knew Man United was going to get back in the game because it's Sheffield. But I didn't have that sense today, and I think that that's a good analysis, and it's something I saw today as well. Reading some reaction to the defeat, that persons feel like Klopp's announcement
Hmm.
that you know actually has done the team more harm than good. And I can see that. I can see that, not intentionally, of course, but just from the perspective that maybe, like you said, they just kind of want it a bit too much. So like
Right.
today, the sports analysis was like, oh, did Everton want the derby more than Liverpool? I don't think it's that. I think that they've just put this pressure on themselves. Like, we want to do this for Klopp. Like Trent said a few weeks ago, I want to go and win this quadruple. And I think
Mhm.
when you start using that sort of language, when you start putting that sort of pressure on yourself, it then translates on the field. And I think
And
that
that's
that's
never
definitely
happened. And that has never happened before because the last time, which would have been 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when we got a Champions League final, we won 2 cups. We were in the
y'all were
chase
not
of
talking
Liverpool.
like that.
We're not talking like that. You
Definitely.
understand? It's like, and again, I understand kind of why Klopp left because I think I need to frame this properly. I think last season would have hurt Klopp a lot in terms of how
Mm.
the entire season in terms of underperforming, right? I
Hmm.
think that would have hurt. I know there were some times where Liverpool were really hopeless along the way last season, right? It did happen,
Some fans were calling for his head as well.
right? I think that would have taken a toll on him, and I think his main mission this season was to kind of like get a team back on track. He said it himself, get a team back on track in a sense, and he's done that because Klopp has a whole long list of famous quotes you could say, and there's one where he said, for example, it's not so important what people think of you when you're right. It's more important what they think when you leave. And I think if we
Mm.
compare Klopp arrival at Liverpool where Liverpool was and where they are now, you understand? You can't say that his tenure has been anything but a success. So if
It's
that was his
true.
mission at the start, he's been successful. But I honestly feel as though, I think he could go another year if he wanted to, but I feel as though like just the emotion is drained. Instead of doing it became year in year out. I think he's being honest. I think that's taking a toll. I think he just felt let me just go put this team in a good place or spot in a good
Yeah,
enough place that whoever come in after me could hopefully build on it, right? And I know it's never a guarantee because this summer is going to be a summer of uncertainty in
for
terms of the
sure.
manager appointment. There's some big decisions to make over some of the senior players and their contracts. Chiefly Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent. All of them are over contract in summer 2025.
Mm.
I think Alisson is probably over contract soon as well. So there are a lot of big decisions to be made. Um, so it is a summer of uncertainty, and I don't know. But again, I don't want to criticize the team too much because I started seeing I didn't expect him to be in this position. Having
Mm.
gotten there, and the bad thing about it is that 2 weeks ago it was in our hands. And the bad thing about it, so to have it slip away just like that, which is a possibility. But to have this individual just said that is bitterly
Disappointing.
disappointing. And
Yeah.
like, again, like you said that watching Liverpool, you get the sense that a goal is coming. Everyone, I found that the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game, where everyone got the goal, the game was very frantic and really really fast paced. And it's
Mm.
almost like the team didn't respond or react, or actually not react. The team didn't handle the atmosphere good as today as well as they normally do, or I would have expected them to do. It seemed like if the atmosphere also played a role, and they were kind of frantic. And by frantic, I mean like mental ways, they were kind of all over the place at times,
Frazzled.
right? Frazzled,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And then everyone got the goal. And like you said, I still felt okay because in that last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half, Liverpool had two or three really, really good chances where they should have done better, which has been the story of recent weeks. Darwin Nunes, blasted the ball straight at Pickford. Luis Diaz again, blasted the ball straight at Pickford. Whereas either side would have been a goal probably. Mohamed Salah looking, you know, lacking his usual sharpness. Play that way. And but you get hope for the fact that you created like two, three good clear cut opportunities. Second half, because Everton didn't really do a lot. The open play. You tell
Mm-hmm.
yourself, okay, do these same things a bit more often. You will still get chances. Hopefully, you take two or three and win the game. And the second half is like it's almost like they're in a rush from the start,
Mm-hmm.
and they just didn't have that control. They weren't able to regain any rhythm in their place. The second half, they never looked like scoring. Everton were
Yeah.
before Everton playing brilliantly well, and they were doing a lot with the ball. They were comfortable.
Yeah.
So, and then you saw desperation. Harbiellet coming on and just playing a bunch of hopeless, aimless passes at the back post for Pickford to come and gather. 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
he did that, and he was not the only guilty party. Then frustration keep creeping in because again, I think that, and and this goes to my own personality because I'm not the best loser, as you know. But I think how you lose is important. You know what I mean? You need to lose with class. And you saw at different times Darwin and other players, you know, they had two bookings because people arguing the referee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so bitterly disappointed in the season. The other, Man City play tomorrow against Brighton. Arsenal have been on a roll. They won yesterday against Chelsea. So I fully expect that. I think Arsenal will go to work, if not last day, but towards last day, still with a legitimate chance of winning. Um, and I think City will win as well most of the games left. So I think that those two teams will, you know, duke it out. If I was a betting man, I would still lean towards City because City have a tendency to be perfect, and Arsenal don't play City directly anymore.
Fair enough. Nothing much to add. Um, any other games from this week that you want to touch on outside your own?
Unless you want to touch on Arsenal winning against Chelsea.
Why would I want to put
I have a
myself through
joke for
that?
you. Joke for you though.
Oh,
It's so,
go
it's
ahead.
so unfortunate that the last episode had to be taken down. But our guest last week, last time was Paul, who's a City fan,
Mm-hmm.
and the other guy that we train with is a Chelsea fan. And what the
Mm-hmm.
guy do? So I guess he didn't watch the game. He didn't know that they had lost. And Paul came in the gym. I made a remark, right, about Chelsea losing. And then what's funny to me, right, is that the guy has a habit of when he's doing reps, he was saying things in his head like he might say one, and he would call seven heaven, whatever kiss me, funny things or whatever. So Paul
Mm-hmm.
doing his reps, and Paul starts Marissa Pochettino, Nicholas Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, Marissa Caicedo, 100 at this million. I was like, Paul was trolling Marissa this morning. You should actually record it. I posted for your child. Paul was
No, it's
trolling.
okay.
He probably,
It's
honestly,
okay.
right? He probably told me tomorrow. I get him working. Don't worry. By the time
It's
coming tomorrow.
okay. I don't need to see it. I don't need to
I
see
didn't
it.
hear you.
I say it's good that you didn't record it. I don't need to see it. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
It was funny though. It was really funny.
I maybe to you. Nothing really to touch on. I switched off the game when Arsenal scored their second goal.
Okay.
Um, because I know what this side gives mentally, and I know they
Mhm.
would have collapsed. And when I checked the full time score, source says so done. I was really disappointed because I felt we were well in the game in the first half. Let me not say that without saying that Arsenal was absolutely battering our goal as well. But we had good chances. We had good chances to equalize. Didn't take them
Mhm.
as usual. But I thought we were in the game. I thought we could have taken advantage of the fact that, Arsenal may be a bit nervous, stuff like that. But I, as usual, Chelsea don't take their chances. And what frustrates me is that you can go from playing okay in the first half to absolutely getting battered in the second half. Like, there's something mentally wrong with this side. And it starts with Pochettino. I've told you I do not like Pochettino's mentality sometimes. So I was like, you know what? I know what can happen. I've seen this script a million times. When Ben White scored, I switched off the TV and I relax myself before I do my exercise. So congratulations to Arsenal. I didn't even watch the game, but it has been a result that has pained me greatly. Like, to lose 5-0 in a London derby is embarrassing is not even the word. It's just absolutely despicable.
Well,
And
you could take some solace from the fact that once upon a time Arsenal lost 6-0 as well. So, well, I mean not 5 but 6. So it happens.
it happens, but at least I didn't see it. So at least
Mm.
that's something. So nothing much to say. Um I think that London derby on Sunday is going to be very interesting.
Right.
I think, and we'll get to our predictions in a bit, but I think this week could be very defining in terms of the title. I'll say that
Yeah.
before we
It,
get
I
to our
mean,
leader.
it already is. It already has been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, so let's go to our leaderboard update. Was a very interesting. The only thing I can say is that it's been a very interesting week. I got 3 predictions right last week. You got 4, and Paul got 6. Paul had a good week last week.
Okay.
Um, if Coventry goal had gone, ugh. Anyways, let's not talk about that. But yeah, so we're gonna predict 2 weeks worth of fixtures because I don't think we are gonna record for the next 2 weeks. I don't think. So we're gonna do 2 weeks of fixtures just in case.
Hmm.
And first out the gate, West Ham at home to Liverpool. Early morning kickoff, clock for everything.
Oh Lord.
West Ham in poor form, so I
I
think
know.
this will be a
That's the only
win.
chance I get. That I'm giving Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I give them a 2-1 victory because of that. But I have a sneaky suspicion that Liverpool could potentially play. Hopefully not. But could play that or based on how that game pans out at certain points. Hopefully they don't revert to what I suspect that they're feeling right now, which is sorry for themselves.
Mm.
So, but I'll give them a 2-1, a 2-1 win.
I will as well. I think West Ham are in some poor form, poor form. So I do think this will be a Liverpool win. I will also go to 1. Usually I will predict these games like 3, but again, I don't know what's going on with y'all shooting boots, so I'll stick with 2-1 for now.
Hmm.
Um, my night at home to Burnley. No, as I said, I watched that Sheffield game today. Burnley are a better side than Sheffield. Everybody's better than Sheffield, but Burnley on the way down as well. I think logically this is probably a 3-1 Man United win, but it could also very easily be a very 1-1 performance. But or even 2-2. Nah, I can go with Man United win. 3-1 United.
Okay. I'm gonna pump for a 2-2 draw. I
Like
think
that
I
was just
think Burnley, I think Burnley managed to get something. Burnley won last weekend, right?
listen to me. I can't remember.
I think they did. I think they play. I can't remember who they played, but I think they got a victory.
My instincts was telling me to too, but anyways, we see. We see. Yeah, I still backing that genie at the back of my United pocket. So yeah. Aston Villa versus Chelsea. I am going to do a very interesting thing, and I am going to predict a 2-1 Chelsea win because we played well on Saturday. We played like crap yesterday. So technically, we're due for a good performance. So
I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw.
when's the last time you predict anything other than a draw with Chelsea? Actually, no, you predict his City will win the FA Cup semifinal. But that's like you always predict 1-1 with Chelsea.
Because even when you play well, you only score 1 goal, so the other team still got a chance.
Are you sure 100%? We don't control, anyways. Anyways, the big one on Sunday: Spurs at home to Arsenal.
Woo! Oh dear. Spurs play this maybe.
Nah,
Okay.
which is interesting. They play us next midweek though.
Okay. Okay. Tottenham Arsenal. And Tottenham have been up and down lately.
I know
I'll
where
go
I'm
to one
going.
Arsenal.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Okay.
City away at Forest.
Okay. You think the referees gonna be kind of for us this time? I'm just asking.
Honestly,
You think
honestly,
you think that you think that you think you do you think that Roger get the 2 yellow cards that he so richly deserves when he met all these numerous fouls? Talk to me.
100% no.
All right. You want to go first or me to go first?
I think City will win this 3-1.
True one. Okay. I'll go for City winning 3-0.
Okay. And as I said, next midweek, Chelsea at home to Spurs.
All right. Chelsea at home to Tottenham.
Oh gosh.
I'll go for a.
I can reach through this screen and slap you if you say
question, question,
2-2.
question, question. I have a legitimate question I remember. All right, you did win the reverse game against Tottenham. I'll go
That
for
chaotic game.
oh there. The guy don't I don't think Tottenham lose both two derbies in the space of a week. So if you pick Arsenal to beat them, okay. Um, I'll go to one Chelsea, but with the caveat that Cole Palmer will be back. If Palmer is not back playing in that game, y'all get beat. But if Palmer plays, I think y'all got a chance of winning. So I'll go to one. Because I doing
So we call Parma FC.
yeah. Ever since no, not just no. But since September, you know this too. Raheem both the players can we win the wages.
Oh, I am
I
crying.
don't know Modric. Yeah, playtime, but you see
Uh,
signs of improvement.
I feel like every time I see signs of improvement, is Mudra is symptomatic of Chelsea actually. Every time
Mm.
you see something, the next week you just see regression. It's mad. He was so bad yesterday, it's not even funny. Anyways, I think we'll win.
Okay,
I think we'll win 2-1 as well. I can't sit on here and predict Spurs beat me. Psh, at home?
fair enough.
At the bridge? No, please. I still have some pride left. Not much, but some. Arsenal didn't take all yesterday. Um, and then going into the following week's fixtures, Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Easy home win for me. I will go 3-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0 as well.
Man City at home to Wolves. Might be
Um,
interesting.
I'll go 2-0 Man City.
I agree. Uh a fixture that brings back awful memories. But good
Well,
good memories for
yeah.
you.
Right,
Awful
right,
memories.
right, 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 right.
But we can win this though.
Okay.
We can win this 3-0. No, we can't keep
Oh,
clean sheets. 3-1.
okay. I'll go for a 1-0 West Ham.
You wait just as so.
I just said that. I'd be very serious too. I
You wait
think
just as so.
I think David Moyes will pick up a little something at Stamford Bridge, and I'm going
Whoa, 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 whoa,
for a
whoa.
1-0 West Ham. I actually don't believe that, but I'll stick with it. Right.
That's more of a betrayal than you sending me Enzo missing a penalty.
Okay.
I'm hurt. I'm really hurt. Um Time to get some revenge for that disgusting prediction just now.
Okay.
Liverpool at home to Spurs.
All right.
Um
I go first this time.
okay, you go ahead. Mm. This is gonna be an interesting game.
2-2.
I agree. That was exactly what I was gonna go with. I'm surprised you predicted a draw though.
Wait, me, it don't matter, no. Hey, got me too. It don't matter. It don't really matter, no.
Don't say that. But yeah, I do think
It's
this will be a draw. Liverpool Tottenham games are very spicy.
correct.
So yeah, I think this will be a great draw. And Palace at home to United. Palace have been playing so well since they appointed this new guy. Honestly, I'm
Playing
not
by my
even
ball
only
foot.
talking about results.
Playing by my ball foot.
Man,
They should
they've
get
been
beat.
playing
They should
football.
get beat. They should get beat at Anfield. If Darwin Nunes and
Oh,
Mohamed Salah and Jordan them should
don't be
could have put it
salty.
back in net. You know what? Where's
Don't
every
be
show they play
salty.
no I could talk about Curtis Jones. It's all chance that he missed when he was playing through. He's was
Yes, yes.
that's one lucky. That I
I ain't
was in
talking
here
about at
after that
Anfield.
game. Anyhow,
Generally, though, they've
oh
been playing
Jeremy.
well.
Okay, okay. All right,
Yes, generally
Jeremy.
they've been playing well. Got a big result today against Newcastle.
Wait,
I
wait.
actually think they'll beat Man United. I think that they'll probably win this to. Well, Man United always find a way to score. So I said one Palace.
How much? 2-1?
Yeah, Palace.
All right, I'll go with that result too. I think Palace will win 2-1.
Hmm. After all they taught you half of them.
Yeah, but it's Selhurst part is mine. And since you said this is lot, this probably later kick off in the day, so you feel like it should be on.
Yeah, Monday night. Ooh, Monday night at Selhurst Park.
Yeah,
Definitely a
exactly.
Palace win.
Exactly.
Definitely a Palace win. Um, yeah, so that's it for another show. Do you feel better? I feel better.
Me, I got where to go. No, I got loads of work to do. So
Oh,
I don't feel better,
th-
but I feel a little
okay.
bit energized. I think talking about Liverpool frustrated me more.
But at least it energized you. At least it did something positive for your emotions.
I
I
suppose
feel
so.
better as well. I feel better as
By
well.
next week, you want away?
Why?
Got to buy holidays next week.
I just really don't understand how we work these terms, The minute these school trying to go back to school to buy holidays. Make it
Heller,
make sense.
Heller, 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 Heller. I did not bring that up for you to come and I give somebody some idea that they should take that open in Canada. Heller, it is to
No,
buy
I just
holiday.
think it should coincide with vacation.
Oh Lord. But we didn't benefit from that when we were in school.
Honestly, I don't feel that I benefited much when I was in school from these bank holidays. I feel
Right,
children
because
get more free time now.
well, you think
Because
trying to
what?
get more for them. I think, you probably use your bank holidays and do work.
No, that's not why. I genuinely feel that the children nowadays get more free time than we did.
All right, madam. But
Honestly,
anyway,
you're a teacher and
this is
you
not
at
a
school.
conversation that I want
What
to
do you
engage in.
feel? Oh
Me?
Lord.
I'll tell you off here.
You don't feel that you get more time
I
now
will
than you was
tell
when
you
you was a
off
student.
here. I'll tell you on here. Listen, 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 listen,
All right,
listen.
bro.
I ain't touching that subject.
All right, you. All right, you. All right, you. Anyways, this has been another good episode of the Dugout podcast. I think it's been therapy. I'll speak for myself and not Andrew. It's been a good therapy for me, recovering from yesterday's chastening defeat. But yeah, thank you for our sponsors, Spirit Led and Whole Health Pharmacy. And we will hopefully see you back on air maybe in 2 weeks' time after these round of fixtures, and we can discuss. I think by then we only have a handful of games left in the season. So the season is winding down, but this summer promises to be a big one. Euros, cricket, and of course the Paris Olympics, which we aren't going to cover, but still of interest for me. I love sports. I love all sports. Well, not all sports. Anyways, I'm rambling. Where are you stopping me from rambling?
I
You're
have
just sitting
nothing to
over
add.
there
I have
smiling
nothing
as
to
I
add.
ramble. You have
I have
nothing
nothing
to
to add,
add.
so I'm not stopping you.
Mhm. Anyways, so thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next time.